So Rofhiwa, this uh, Tottenham Hotspur issue, it's a real hot potato. We heard from the marketer, Tebe Kalafeng, who is dead against it. Vata Gobeni, our sports editor, explaining there are so many opportunities for us to beam our brand through the many events, international events that we're hosting here in South Africa this year. But I'm really interested to hear the perspective you're bringing us, and that is for all the people, the tourism, small businesses, medium-sized businesses who battled through COVID, how they feel about this.
Yeah, probably not happy at all, because some of them are still left to pick up the pieces. Isn't that right, Sally? And that is why this is such a concerning conversation to be having. We're going to bring in David Froster. He's the CEO of Southern Africa Tourism Services Association. A very good evening to you, David. So there's no formal word from our authorities that a sponsorship deal is in place at the moment, although we do understand from the football club that an agreement is imminent or is in the making. So an association in a very significant industry, have you been pulled into the consultations on this one?
Yeah, good evening. The short answer is no. We haven't been consulted. This is sort of hit us in like a little bit like a lead balloon. And what we've been agitating for the last 5 or 6 years is to have a proper structured engagement with our public sector, but a proper structured engagement where you have formal meetings that are minuted and everything. We bring the best brains of the private sector and we mirror them with the best brains of the public sector. But this never happens. So we hear a lot of rhetoric and parroted rhetoric about partnerships and collaboration, but there's no substance to that. And then these deals are ventilated. And let me just say, I think to whatever investigative journalist exposed this, I think it's just right and proper that this is debated and discussed. And it should have been done so in a collaborative way. And as the private sector, who outspend the government 20-1 in terms of our marketing spend, we should have a say in this, and we should be aligning our expertise and our market knowledge about how we could best position South Africa. We trail our biggest competitor, Australia. They did 9 million overseas. Just go figure. Think about what we've got, our big five, our culture, our history, our cuisine. What has Australia got? Very little compared to us, and they outperform us 2-1. The reason they do so is that they collaborate in section and then they execute together as the public and private sector. And we fail miserably at this. So hopefully this is a wake-up call that we can come together and say, here's the budget. How best should we spend it?
Right. And I mean, let's hope that no ink has signed on any dotted line at the moment, David, because one wonders, this initiative, R1 billion is a lot of money. Is the marketing and advertising sponsorship deal worth the return? Just based on your experience and your engagements in terms of what you've just mentioned in selling South Africa and putting what South Africa has to offer to the world.
Well, look, I've been in this game now I was thrust into it in 1998. I was seconded as the special advisor to Palo Jordan by the Business Trust. We raised R1 billion and were interested in job creation, and tourism was identified then. And, I was the special advisor. I chaired the SATO Marketing Partnership Committee. I cannot, in my 25 years plus experience, fathom how you would put all your in one basket and this is like playing roulette and choosing number 27 and hoping that your number comes up. This is not a way to actually do it. Other countries may have tried it. I think Rwanda did it, but they're in a very different brand positioning to South Africa. There is huge awareness. We are not. 15 years ago we needed to position ourselves as a country and everything else. We've done that. The world is aware of us. They know all about us. The unfortunate thing is our brand, due to and I don't have to go through the litany of inflicted own goals from the Zuma era to state capture to load shedding to safety and security. We inflict own goals on ourselves. All we've got to do is take this high awareness and convert it into conversion. And the best recipe to do this, and I hope maybe through this government has a wake up, but we need the guy at the top to actually take some action. You know, the president needs to involve himself. And countries that have done this, like Japan and Canada, they put tourism under the presidency, and they pulled everybody else in, including the private sector, into a strong partnership. They saw double-digit growth for 10 years. You know, this is needed, and hopefully an incident like this can galvanize government into a proper partnership where we mirror the best brains of the private sector with the best brains of the public sector. And if we do it, we'll be like Australia. We'll be getting 9 million arrivals, not 2.6.
Yeah, and I suppose this would kind of feed into my final question to you, David. Do campaigns of this nature, seeing a logo on a football shirt, translate into actual people flocking to that particular country? Is there any value in small to medium businesses in South Africa benefiting from a partnership of this kind?
No, look, to me, and in my experience, this is not the way to go. There are far more tactical, cost-effective, trade-led, sales-led engagements that we could be engaged in. And look, I mean, it's an emergency. You know, people go to load shedding. People go to the total lack of support from our government, from our industry that was shut down for 2 years. Every other country in the world, and we compete against all of them, were supported by their governments through COVID. The industry got some level of support. We got a fudged transformation thing that ended up not going anywhere. You know, the point is, let's not wail and ash about that. This is the time for sober minds. This is the time for a wake-up call. Engage the private sector. We outspend government.
It would appear we've lost our connection with David Frost. He did indicate he was going through some load shedding. He's the CEO of the Southern Africa Tourism Services Association. His last point there, an important one, Sally, indicating that what they needed during the peak of the pandemic was support, like other countries were giving their tourism sector, and our government gave very little.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to say that Daily Maverick's Rebecca Davis did get everybody talking, and this is exactly the sort of thing that we do need to be aware of, and that we do need to openly discuss. And clearly, discussion has not happened at the level that it should have. Thank you so much, Rofhiwa.